125 classified documents. What about Hillary, who had her email bleached? She had over 1,000 documents. They did nothing to her. Let's get back to the article. It says he has voluntarily given back some material. His lawyers turned over additional files after the subpoena. And the FBI found dozens of classified records during a court-approved search of his Mar-a-Lago home last summer. Trump has denied all wrongdoing and claims the investigation is a politically motivated sham intended to derail his ongoing campaign to win the Republican 2024 nomination and return to the White House. Now, here's the timeline of the important developments in the investigation. So, May 2021, an official from the National Archive and Records Administration contacted Trump's team after realizing that several important documents weren't handed over before Trump left the White House. In hopes of locating the missing items, NARA lawyer Gary Stern reaches out to someone who served in the White House counsel's office under Trump, who was the point of contact for record-keeping matters. The missing documents include some of Trump's corresponding with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un, as well as the map of the Hurricane Dorian that Trump infamously altered with a Sharpie pen. This is so weird. If they took way more time to do this to Hillary that they did to Trump, trust me, she wouldn't have time to bleach the emails, the over 1,000 emails, right? This is just unheard of. Like, he had access to the documents. He had the documents. You never asked for it back. But I don't understand. They should have done all of this before he left. This makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, for instance, when you work at a job, right, and then you get fired or you leave the job, they automatically just, all securities, everything is pretty much, and then they make sure you don't have access to nothing. All documents, paperwork, everything is restricted, and basically you have no access once you leave a job. So I don't understand. You have NSA, you have all these people, and it took you how many years to realize that documents were missing, and you didn't even know, and you wait till the election until he's running for president. That's when you bring it up. That's when you start asking questions about documents. This, to me, it's a sham. It's really pitiful how these people would go through lengths to bring this guy down just because he's running for president. And he's winning. They could have done this a long time ago. Why did they wait till 2023, 2022? Makes no sense to me. Okay, so July 2021, in a tape conversation, you know what I think? I think one of his friends in the White House or somebody he knew told on him. It has to be one of his friends, because why would they bring this later on? It makes no sense to me. Usually how they find criminals and stuff like that, someone always tells. Or there's always like some sort of something left behind, or somebody tells. But usually that's how they find criminals. Somebody always tells, snitches. So in July 2021, in a taped conversation, Trump acknowledges that he still has classified Pentagon documents. Why would they let him out the building with classified documents? That's strange to me. Anyways, so he still had classified Pentagon documents about a possible attack against Iran, right, according to the CNN reporting. The recording, which was made at Trump's golf club in New Jersey, indicated that Trump understood that he retained classified materials after leaving the White House. The special counsel later obtained this audio tape, a key piece of evidence in the inquiry. So, this is the next timeline. Fall 2021. NARA grows frustrated. That's the National Archives for documents and stuff like that. They grew frustrated with the slow pace of documents turnover after several months of conversation with the Trump's team. Stern reaches out to another Trump attorney to intervene. The archivist asked about several boxes of records that were apparently taken to Mar-a-Lago during Trump's relocation to Florida. NARA still doesn't receive the White House document. that they're searching for. So January 18, 2022, let's fast forward. After months of discussion with Trump's team, NARA retrieved 15 boxes of Trump's White House records from Mar-a-Lago. The boxes contained some materials that were part of special access programs such as SAP, which is a classification that includes protocol to significantly limit who would have access to the information. NARA says in a statement that some of the records it received at the end of Trump's administration were torn up by former presidents, and the White House official had to take them back. Not all the documents were torn, were reconstructed, NARA says. So February 9, 2022, NARA asked the Justice Department to investigate Trump's handling of the White House, whether he violated the Presidential Records Act and other laws related to classified information. The Presidential Records Act requires all created by a sitting president to be returned over to the National Archives at the end of their administration. Now, February 18, 2022, NARA informs the Justice Department that some of the documents were retrieved from Mar-a-Lago included classified information material. NARA also tells the department that despite being warned it was illegal, Trump occasionally torn up government docs while he was the president. April and May 2022. On April, NARA publicly acknowledges for the first time that the Justice Department is involved, and the news outlet report that prosecutors have launched a criminal probe into Trump's mishandling of classified documents. Around this time, FBI agents quietly interviewed Trump's aide at Mar-a-Lago about the handling of the presidential record as part of the widening investigation. April 11, 2022, FBI asked NARA for access to the 15 boxes it retrieved from Mar-a-Lago in January. The request was formally transmitted to NARA by President Joe Biden, White House counsel's office. Because the incumbent president controls the presidential documents in NARA custody. April 29, 2022, Justice Department sends a letter to Trump's lawyer as a part of the effort to access the 15 boxes, notifying them that more than 100 classified documents totaling 700 pages were found in the boxes. The letter says FBI and U.S. intelligence agency need immediate access to these materials because of important national security interests. Also on this day, Trump lawyers asked NARA to delay its plan to give the FBI access to these materials. Trump lawyer also states that they want time to examine the materials to see if anything is privileged and that they are making a protective assertion of executive privilege over all the documents. May 1st, 2022, Trump's lawyers write again to NARA and ask again for them to postpone plans to give the FBI access to the materials retrieved from Mar-a-Lago. May 10th, Deborah Stedwell, the acting archivist of the United States who runs NARA, informs Trump lawyers that she is rejecting their claims of protective executive privilege over all the materials taken from Mar-a-Lago and will therefore hand it over to the materials to the FBI and the U.S. intelligence agency in a 4-page letter. May 11th, the Justice Department subpoenas Trump, demanding all documents with classification markings that's still at Mar-a-Lago. At some point after receiving the subpoena, Trump asked his lawyer, Evan, if there was any way they can fight the subpoena, but Corcoran tells him he has to comply. Okay, including body man walls are captured in surveillance footage moving documents, boxes out of the basement into a storage room, which of course became a major element of the obstruction of justice of the investigation. May 12, news outlets report that investigators subpoenaed NARA for access to classified documents they retrieved from Mar-a-Lago. The subpoena is the first indication of the Justice Department using grand jury in the investigation. June 2nd, as part of the effort to comply with the subpoena, there were searches at the Mar-a-Lago storage room and find 38 additional classified documents. According to the lawsuit that former president later filed, Trump advised FBI officials to come to the Mar-a-Lago to retrieve the subpoenaed material. Now, June 3rd, federal investigators, including a top Justice Department counterintelligence official, visited Mar-a-Lago to deal with the subpoena for remaining classified documents. The investigators met with Trump's attorney, including look around the basement, storage room where, of course, the documents were stored. Trump briefly stops by the meeting to say hello to the official, but he does not answer any questions. Corcoran hands over the 38 classified documents that he found. Trump's lawyer signs a sworn affidavit inaccurately asserting that they there weren't any more classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. June 8th, Trump's attorney received a letter from the federal investigators asking them to further secure the room where documents are being stored. In response, Trump aides add a padlock to the room in the basement at Mar-a-Lago. June 24th, federal investigators served a subpoena to the Trump organization demanding surveillance video from Mar-a-Lago. Trump company complies. CNN has reported this part of the effort to gather information, August 8th, the FBI executes a court-approved search warrant, right? A major escalation of the investigation. The search focused on the area of the club where Trump's offices and personal quarters are located. Federal agents found more than 100 additional classified documents at the property. The search was the first time in American history that a former president's home was searched as part of a criminal investigation. August 11th, Trump sends a message through one of the lawyers. Been hearing from people all over the country about a raid who are angry, and that whatever I can do to take the heat down, to bring the pressure down, just let us know. According to the lawsuit he later filed. Hours later, after 3 days of silence, Garland makes a brief public statement about the investigation. He reveals that he personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant, and that the Justice Department will continue to apply the law without fear or favor. Garland also pushes it back against what he called unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and the Justice Department. August 12th, the federal magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart approved the unsealing of the Mar-a-Lago search warrant and its property received at the Justice Department's request, and after Trump's lawyers agreed to the release. The warrant reveals the Justice Department is looking into possible violations of the Espionage Act, obstruction of justice, and criminal handling of government records as part of its investigation. August 22nd, oh my gosh, this thing is lengthy. Trump files a federal lawsuit against seeking the appointment of a third-party attorney as a special master to independently review the materials that the FBI seized from Mar-a-Lago in the lawsuit. Trump lawyers argue that the Justice Department can't be trusted to do its own review for potentially privileged material that should be siloed off from a criminal probe. September 5th, in a ruling in Trump's favor, federal district judge Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, grants Trump's request for a special master to review the seized material from the Mar-a-Lago. She says the special master will have the power to look at the documents covered under the attorney-client privilege and executive. September 8th, the Justice Department appeals Cannon decision in a special master case, which is good. September 15th, Cannon appoints senior judge Raymond Derry to serve as special master and sets a November 30 deadline for the Brooklyn-based federal judge to finish the review. October 2022, a maintenance worker drains the swimming pool at Mar-a-Lago, which ended up flooding a room where there are servers that contain surveillance video logs. According to CNN reported, it is unclear if the flood was accidental or on purpose. And it's possible that IT equipment wasn't damaged, but federal prosecutors found the incident to be suspicious. November 4th, former Trump administration Cash testifies before the federal grand jury in the classified documents investigation. A Trump loyalist, Patel, had publicly claimed that Trump declassified all the materials that ended up at a Mar-a-Lago, even though there was no evidence to back up those assertions. November 18, Garland announces that he is appointing special counsel Jack Smith to take over the investigation. December 1st, a federal appeals court shuts down the special master review of the documents that the FBI seized from Mar-a-Lago. The appeals panel rebuked Cannon's earlier decision, writing that she essentially tried to interfere with the criminal probe and had create a special exception in the law to help Trump. December 23rd, Trump attorney Timothy testifies before the special crown counsel grand jury, where he described how Trump's lawyer scoured his properties for classified materials. He later left Trump's legal team. Late 2022 and early 2023, Trump's legal team searches 4 of the properties in Florida, New York, and New Jersey in additional classified material. They found 2 more classified files in the Florida storage unit and gave it to the FBI. Around that time, Trump's team also found additional papers with classification marking at Mar-a-Lago, and they gave the materials to the Justice Department. They also turned over laptops belonging to a Trump aide who had copied those documents onto the computer, not realizing that they were classified. Spring 2023, a string of key witnesses testified before the special counsel grand jury in Washington, D.C. This includes Trump's administration official, Robert O'Brien, Rick Grenell, who handled national security and intelligence matters, Margot Martin, a communication aide who continued working for Trump after he left the White House, and Matthew Calamari Sr., his son Matthew Calamari Jr., longtime Trump employees who oversee security for the Trump's organization. Mid-March 2023, in response to a new subpoena from the special counsel, Trump's lawyer turned over some materials related to the classified Pentagon documents that he discussed at a recorded meeting in 2021. However, Trump's team wasn't able to find the specific documents about potential U.S. attacks on Iran that prosecutors were looking for. March 25th, the lead Trump attorney testified before the grand jury in Washington, D.C. This occurred after Trump's federal judge ordered him to answer prosecutors' questions, ruling that attorney-client privilege did not shield his discussion with Trump because Trump might been trying to commit a crime through his attorney. June 2023, the first public indication emerged that special counsel was using a second grand jury in Miami to gather evidence. Multiple witnesses testified in front of the Miami-based panel. June 5th, Trump's lawyer met with senior Justice Department officials, including Special Counsel Smith, to discuss the Mar-a-Lago investigation. The sit-down lasted about 90 minutes, and Trump's team raised concerns about the probe, which they have called an unlawful and outrageous abuse of the legal system. June 7, news outlets report that the justice system recently sent a target letter to Trump, formally notifying him that he's a target of the investigation into potentially mishandling of classified documents. June 8, a federal grand jury in Miami indicts Trump in connection with the classified documents investigation, accusing him of 37 federal crimes, including illegally retaining national security documents and conspiring to obstruct justice. Trump says in a social media post that he's totally innocent and calls the case a hoax. The grand jury indicts Nuda, which is Trump's lawyer, Trump's aide, on obstruction-related charges. So pretty much, folks, that's the timeline of all that happened. Now, NARA, I think it's NARA's fault, because before a president leaves the office, you should make sure he has, and make sure everything he takes is not classified documents. That's number one. Because the fact that the president's leaving with documents, I mean, there's cameras all over. How could you not know that the things he's probably leaving with are documents? You should know that. You should look at everything before he steps out of the freaking White House. Like, it's their fault. I think it's their fault because, in all honesty, let's be clear. Trump is not the first person that has taken classified documents from the White House. There's been several presidents. We can name Richard Nixon. We can name a lot of presidents that have taken the documents, including Obama. And nothing has happened to them. You know why? Because NARA is stupid. The archive place and the security system for the White House they're just not smart. How could you allow someone to take classified documents and not know it? How dumb could you be? And that's why Hillary Clinton was able to bleach the emails that, to me, were kind of classified. You know, and I think they're trying to use this because why it took them so long. Someone told them that Trump had stuff at his Mar-a-Lago. You know how many houses Trump has? How did they know it was Mar-a-Lago? How did they know? Someone from Trump's team definitely told them what was going on, that he had something. Because why did they take so long to go search for it or ask for it? NARA took so long. Why? Because someone called them and told them, hey, you know Trump has classified documents. That's what I think. Because there's no way. Why did they take so long? You know, and I think, again, I agree with Trump. It is a hoax, but at the same time, Trump, why the hell do you have these classified, whether they're declassified or not? Why do you have all these, why are you storing all these documents? For what purpose? Why? That makes no sense to me. Why you have classified documents, declassified or classified. What are you going to do with those documents? That is just plain stupid to me, that you actually have these documents and you walk around with these documents. Well, you don't walk around, but you have them stored in storage or in your home. Like, you don't need those documents. You have the highest position ever. You know, so I think it's stupid that they allowed him to leave the White House with those documents. And I think it's also stupid on Trump's part to have those documents. You don't need it to run your company, to run as president. It doesn't make sense why he have it. What does he need it for? Doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, guys, that's my take on it. Go ahead, tell me in the comments, what do you think about it? I think NARA is stupid. I think the White House security system, whoever controls IT security in the White House, I think they're stupid. I think that the White House should know better. And their security system should be a lot tighter than that, to allow people to walk out of the White House with documents, classified documents. I think that's crazy, when they should have the highest security system ever. So that's my take on it. But again, I want to hear from you guys, so go ahead and leave a comment and tell me what you think.